That's, I think, what we are trying to outline here. There's something that we saw in each other that we wanted to see in our lives and in the world eventually.
Welcome back to the next episode of Los Mid Dudes podcast. We have a very special guest in the studio today. But before we get to that, I'd like to say that we are the official podcast of the Columbus Comedy Festival here at Boxland Studios. That's all your needs for podcasting, any digital media service, live shows, and a really great bar. I'm going to be honest about that part. It's a really great bar. Yeah, it's top shelf. It's clearly the afternoon. My special guest today is someone I've known forever. I could swear I've known forever, yet has never been arrested with me. So I'm not sure how close we really are.
We came pretty close when we got robbed.
We have been pretty close
in Whitehall.
Yes, that's going to be a whole nother segment of this. We'll explain how that actually went down. My special guest, one of my best friends, Travis Irvine.
Hello, Ervin Ross.
Hello, Travis Irvine.
Travis Irvine and Ervin Ross. Together we are
Ervin Irv. Yes.
Still got it. 20 years in the making. This is great. I'm so excited for you and for the Columbus Comedy Festival.
Oh, yeah. It's going to be a magic one this year.
Very excited. The second one is always, the first year I told Walker is the proof of concept, right?
Right.
Throw everything at the wall, see what sticks. And then the second year is really where the rubber meets the road. Because if you can do it again, replicate it, improve it, then you just keep going.
Yeah, it's losing your virginity. It only happens once.
There you go.
Second time, you're bound to be better at it.
Yeah. What if did you ever get you go long stretches without doing the thing and then doesn't the clock reset? Don't you get multiple virginities?
Yes. There's time reset virginity. It's a real thing.
Cool.
I mean, the Egyptians believed in it. I mean, that's what all the hieroglyphs were about. They're just very, very, very proper forms of porn.
That's because it's a lot of pictures.
It's a whole lot of
picture books.
But
then you read it, and then the Greeks were very
horny. Very horny.
I remember even seeing some art in New York Museum at some point where you're just looking at like, these people are just having sex. That's what it's nice to know that ancient people were as obsessed with it as we are.
Yeah, and how brave of them. Before condoms, before PrEP, all of it. They
goat skin, that's what they use.
Goat skin.
Good luck with that.
Yeah.
I've heard it feels real bad. Come on, folks. All right, I'll show myself out. It's good to be here.
It's good to be here.
Should we tell our origin story? What do you want to do?
We should tell the origin story of how we met. As you can tell, we've known each other forever. We met freshman year of college.
Ohio University.
At a school that neither one of us really wanted to go to.
I didn't want to go there. You got into Stanford.
Yeah, I got into Stanford, and my high school guidance counselor talked me out of it.
Which is insane.
Which is absolute
I was explaining
insanity.
that to someone who's like, technically, Irv wasn't supposed to go to OU either.
Right.
Because we were in the dorm on West Green, Rowdy Ryers. Named for Rowdy Ryers Piper, of course, the wrestler / actor.
Yes.
And it was the dorm of people who accepted at the last minute, like me, or who didn't want to go there or barely got in, as we learned, because by halfway of our freshman year, half of those guys had failed out.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
And it's like our dorm, and then we got some new guys, but then it was kind of nice because everyone kind of got their own room eventually.
Right.
So many guys failed out halfway through freshman year, but not us.
Not us. We waited like gentlemen to mess up.
Yeah, you failed out after.
I failed out after freshman year.
No.
But then I got back in.
Then you got back in.
And then I got kicked out after my first senior year.
Okay.
No, wait. I got kicked. It was the middle of the second senior year. I don't know.
Actually kicked out. But you weren't. What we're saying is you didn't graduate.
I did not graduate. I am still 19 credits shy of my degree, which is
never too late.
A completely useless degree.
It might be too late.
It's completely useless at this point. It's going to be music journalism because I watched Almost Famous, the movie.
That's right.
Well, Cameron Crowe, don't make decisions intoxicated. It's really bad.
It seems pretty cool though.
I thought
you made your own major.
I made my own major.
Yeah.
And my guidance counselor in high school quit because of it. Our guidance counselor in college quit.
The college one, yeah.
Yeah.
The high school one's still working there, telling kids not to go to Stanford. Probably
seriously.
Was that down in Groveport?
Yeah.
But you should have gone to Bexley.
Yeah, well, thank you. They would have told me to go for the gusto.
Yeah.
Like he said, don't go to Stanford. You won't like it out there. And I was like, I didn't even know where Stanford was at this point.
Of course. When you say out there, you're thinking what? Illinois?
I was somewhere in the middle of nowhere. I was like, Stanford, nah, I don't want to go to England. And he's like, nah, you won't like it out there. He's like, but you'll love Ohio State. And I was like, I live here in Columbus. I don't want to go to Ohio State.
You just know that guy was getting paid under the table.
He was.
By Ohio State.
He graduated from Ohio State. He's just farming kids to Ohio State. And I'm like, where's the third option? And I was like, OU. And I visited my cousin down there. Mm-hmm. And I only stayed down there for like 2 days. And after the first day, I woke up in the grass on West Green.
And you were like, this
might be okay.
And then freshman year, that's where we ended up meeting, was on West Green.
Yep.
My story was I was desperate to get out of Ohio. I was a valedictorian at Bexley, one of 26 valedictorians. I was explaining to someone else the other day, if you got an A-, it still counted as an A+. It was a weighted grading scale system. So I've sailed through Bexley High School with A-, and it still counted as a 4.0. So I should not have been an actual valedictorian.
I was like, that's how you had 20-something valedictorians.
It was one of those, but if you get a 4.0, you're a valedictorian, which was nice because then I got a little extra scratch for the OU. But I didn't want to go to OU. I wanted to go to University of Miami, Florida. Emerson College.
You, all right.
Yeah, also known as Emerson College in Boston because that's Jay Leno went there.
Right.
And then Ball State because David Letterman went there. And all these colleges are out of state. They're more expensive, obviously.
Right.
But I knew I wanted to do radio, TV. I think my original goal is to be a weatherman. But that was only because David Letterman was a weatherman before he became famous David Letterman. Because he went to Ball State in Muncie, Indiana, and then he was a weatherman in Indianapolis, Indiana, and he got fired for congratulating a tropical storm for becoming a hurricane. So he's like, congratulations, Judy, or whatever, and then they fired him, and he was like, all right, I'm going to L.A., and he became the Letterman we all know.
Well, maybe it's better, though. You didn't go the weatherman route. I mean, if you had come back here to Columbus, you'd been probably under Mike Davis or something. And God knows how awful.
Lord, I forgot about that guy.
Yeah.
Man, I hope everyone else gets to forget about that guy, too.
I hope we never forget about that guy.
Oh, yeah.
We keep a close eye on our weatherman from now on.
Yeah, you're going to want to do that.
Just guessing the weather out here.
Yeah, man, there were a lot of jokes about temps in the teens, but we won't go into those. Those are from a few years ago. The nice thing is that OU did kill my weatherman dream because, again, I couldn't afford to go to school out of state. Right. I had to do OU. OU was the best communications, radio, TV school, unless you wanted to do Bowling Green, but no thanks, was a STD University. Yeah, so
which is true. I visited a few times.
Yes, I also went to visit, and I avoided everyone, so that was good.
Yeah.
OU ended up being the right choice, not just because I met you, but because, I mean, the whole situation down there was just... I remember I had an 8 a.m. English class and then a 10 a.m. meteorology class. And that 8 a.m. English class put me to sleep by 10 a.m. meteorology class. So it was, as a valedictorian coming from high school, this is the first time I started getting B's in classes. And I'm like, I'm not doing well in meteorology. And I was miserable that first semester at Rowdy Ryers on West Green at Ohio University until I joined the comedy troupe. And then I remember, it was like I had found my people, my dorks, my theater nerds. And then that was also what inspired me to ask you, because I thought you were funny. I mean, you were around the dorm and you were a fun, cool guy. But the day that actually I remember you came out of the door, I was out there smoking a cigarette trying to look cool, pretending like I knew what smoking was and how to do it. And then you came out with a piece of pizza in one hand, a cigarette in the other, and you're like, piece of pizza in one hand, cigarette in the other, not as cool as piece of pizza and weed. And I'm like, this guy's cool.
I was also smoking a cigarette trying to look cool at the time.
Yeah, we didn't know what we were doing.
No.
Freshman year, I was, 18, 19 years old still. And I was like, this guy's funny. And so I think after I joined the comedy troupe, of course, we're comedy for the masses.
Comedy for the masses.
Which, as you would expect, was a bunch of white theater nerds.
The masses.
The masses. And we had a show where I wrote a skit called The Little Rascals Grow Up. Yeah. And I needed a buckwheat. And I was like, Irv's funny. Maybe he wouldn't mind coming. And I asked you, I was like, you got one line, right? You walk in, you say...
Otay, motherfuckers.
And then you walk out. And I remember you did that line because buckwheat had sold them weed. And then I was like, all right, Irv, go out. And you showed up with like the fro.
Oh yeah, the Afro picket and
everything. And you just sold it, and it crushed so hard. And I just remember being off stage and being like, a star is born.
Yeah, that was like my first thing that got me, because I was in music.
Right.
I was in the music program.
And you were a drummer. I remember you had a drum set in your
Yep.
dorm room, and we'd go hang out and you'd drum. And
like, if I'd have known now what I know, if I'd have known then what I know now, I would have gone into the theater program and, just kind of jump started this early. But I've played music since I was 7. So I was like, my band director he was like, hey, go to school for music. And I was like,
right.
Okay. And I did. I got a full scholarship for that. So it was like,
yeah, not the end of the world.
Not the end of the world. It's
That's
like,
great. You could have gone to Stanford, but instead you took a full ride to OU.
Right.
I mean, I got some valedictorian money, but I remember that first semester writing a check for
then I lost
thousands of dollars. Well, that's what's going to happen when you don't get the...
No, you know how I
grades?
actually lost it for the grades. You know what actually got me in the grades was the stupidest thing ever. My freshman year, I had to take, because I kind of just messed around on those exams for the entrance stuff. So I had to take Algebra 1, which I took in 8th grade.
Sure.
So, got an A in 8th grade in it. I had taken like calculus in high school, but I had to take Algebra 1 again. And mind you, I think I only missed the entire semester maybe 3 or 4 problems. And I failed. Because I refused to show work. Like, I didn't need to write down
everything. You have to show your work.
Like, I know. But it's the weird part is, like, I know the answers.
You did it in your head.
I know the answers. Right. I was like, no, I did this in 8th grade.
So did they assumed you were cheating or something?
They assumed I was cheating. So I had to retake most of my tests in the dean's office, and I still getting like perfect scores. Mm-hmm. And he's like, nope, well, it's on the syllabus, so you got to follow the rules. And I was like, so you're not rewarding education or intelligence here. You're breeding like compliance. You want me to just conform and comply with what you say, despite the fact that I don't need to.
That's what they're trying to break you down as a person.
Yeah, they're trying to like, railroad you into society where you just conform the whole way. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, no, I don't think like that. I'm like, yo, I know these answers. I didn't even have a calculator. And I was like, no, I know how to do this. Trust me, I know how to do this.
Yeah.
I'm the only person finishing in like 10 minutes my exams in class. And I'm like, I got to go by. And they're like, he's got to be cheating.
There's something wrong with that boy.
I'm like, I'm not cheating. I did this before.
Yeah.
Like, shouldn't college reward like intelligence? Isn't that what
you would think so?
Why are we there?
But we were at OU, and instead we partied.
Yeah,
that was our rite of passage.
Right. I was like, all the partying I did, barely any bad came from that. But
yeah,
I try to buck against the system by not writing stuff down on paper. Ooh-wee.
Ooh. Well, it worked out in a way.
It really did.
Because I do remember, like, yeah, the Weatherman Dream died a painful death right away.
Mm-hmm.
And then finding that comedy troupe was just like, yeah, we found our people. And then, I was explaining to someone the other day, is like, I didn't even know I was funny till, living in that dorm room, I was doing impressions of all the other guys on the floor.
Right.
It's almost like doing impressions of your teachers in high school and, cracking up your friends and everything. But when I found that comedy troupe, it was like, I can stand on stage, and then they also inspired me to eventually do stand-up when we had a stand-up show. And I remember going out there and crushing. That was a trick of the game, though, right? You crush right away, and it didn't really prepare me for all the bombing that would come for the months and if not years later. But, doing one show a semester in Athens, Ohio for other college students is like, I'm pretty good at comedy, actually.
Right. Well, speaking of which, I believe we're about to take an upcoming trip this weekend to Athens again.
Yes,
because we love going.
Depending on when this episode drops, we will have gone to Athens, or we will be preparing for the next Athens trip.
For the next Athens.
It's like a Holy Land trip for us.
It is.
It's like a return to the roots for us.
Right, it is.
I remember we did... I had never been to... Oh, man, you got to tell your homecoming story, too.
Oh, no.
Because we went to a homecoming... and I've never really gone as an alum. And that was so fun. Like, we woke up in time for the parade, which was super fun. We actually went to the game. Ohio University was playing Kent State. Mm-hmm. And every time OU scores a touchdown, they fire a cannon. And me and Irv would be like, "For dead in Ohio," which the Kent State fans did not care for.
They did not.
And then...
Can't take a bullet or a joke.
Hey-o, boing, woo. And then we went to our old dorm and had someone take our picture. And, some poor student, we were just like, we've been friends for 20 years. And they're just
that really was awkward because it's like...
she was like, I hope I have friends after 20 years.
Yeah. Yeah, some like freshman girl is just like, hey, these two older guys approached me and like, can you take our picture?
You take our picture, please. But I'm glad we did that because that is fun. Can you tell everyone why this was a moment of growth for you for this homecoming?
This was very much so a particular moment of growth for me. The previous homecoming that we went to. This is the second homecoming I've went to and the first that I was not arrested at. The first homecoming I went to, I believe my senior year. It's on a Saturday morning. I think I had been hanging out with friends since Thursday afternoon, and we had not slept. We had just been partying the entire way through, as one does in college.
It's homecoming weekend.
It's homecoming weekend. What else am I going to do? I don't play sports.
Senior year, this is like your last one.
Yeah, I don't play sports. Might as well go ahead and go with a bang. So about 10 in the morning, I'm noticing the parade routes going right to my buddy's house. We're all sitting on the front porch, and I get this strange image of sort of a Norman Rockwell-esque painting of a child in a fire suit riding on the back of a fire truck. And I was like, oh, that's such a good image. And as the fire trucks are going by, I'm like, I want that for me. I want that to be my life. Okay. So I run out in the middle of the street and I jump on the back of a moving fire truck in the middle of a parade route.
Woo! And I believe you said your friends were like cheering you on.
Yeah, they're cheering me on. And eventually two of my friends come and run and jump in the back of the truck with me. And we're riding this slow moving, fire truck all the way up, through the parade route. And at some point, very soon after, this dad comes out of the crowd with his child dressed in a firefighter's outfit and puts him on the back of the truck with us. So I was like, it wasn't just me. This was a reality. This was a manifestation of how this should be. And I was like, this is what my thought was. This right here. Anyway, we get uptown near the junction at the time. I think it's J-Bar now. We get uptown near the junction, and I remember the dad taking his child away and disappearing very quickly. And then right after that, the cops swarmed us around the edges of the fire truck, escorted my two friends who, also not to make it a racial issue, happen to be white, escorted them down very gently while they literally like John Cena slammed me onto the cobblestone face first.
Right, the bricks.
So yeah, I'm very aggravated at this point on top of being, inebriated. And at some point during my arrest...
And the crowd is on your side.
The crowd's on my side. They're booing the cops because they're like, hey, man, we're just having some fun around here.
He's just a child in a fire suit.
He's a clearly intoxicated adult. Just let him go. Yeah. And at some point during this arrest, I made a very, very... I still feel bad about this mistake. At the top of my lungs while the cop's walking me through the crowd in handcuffs, I yell out, this cop just called me the hard R. And the crowd erupts.
It's a progressive town.
It's a very progressive town. And they do not stand for racism or injustice like this. Crowd erupts and they start throwing things at the cops. Someone throwing a full beer bottle at the police officer, cuts his head.
It's like a Norman Rockwell painting.
It's a Norman Rockwell painting.
Very America in a lot of ways.
If Norman Rockwell painted Oz during a riot, this is the exact painting.
Yeah.
So he gets cut, a riot starts, and at this point I'm thinking, oh dear God, I've just started a riot.
But you didn't actually think that, according to your lawyer, right?
No, I did not. Right. According to my lawyer, I did not start a riot.
That. No.
Nothing happened.
You're still living in a Norman Rockwell world.
Norman Rockwell world.
Everything erupts. And this is like on Court Street at this point?
Yeah, this is on Court Street.
Front and center.
Front and center.
Of the homecoming parade.
It could have been Kent State, for all we know. It could have been Kent State with the National Guard.
4 dead.
4 dead in Ohio. Ugh.
Man, what a great... So that's why.
So this time we go back to homecoming. Yeah. And
you were found not guilty of all charges.
I was found not guilty.
Right.
Because apparently
went to your court
I went to court.
Did everything.
Apparently in the state of Ohio, it's not illegal to ride on the back of a fire truck.
Imagine that.
Imagine
you were doing
that.
nothing wrong.
Yeah. Yeah.
Put it on a t-shirt. Ervin Ross did nothing wrong.
Yeah. Not even civil disobedience. No, nothing wrong. And then, of course, the police officer didn't show up, so I didn't get the riot charge either.
There you go.
And I was like, wow. But the judge did suggest in the courtroom that I leave Athens, Ohio.
Oh, okay.
And I was like,
you should probably leave town.
You're probably not wrong.
Wow. Okay.
And that's eventually how they got me my senior year. That's how I got kicked out.
Oh, really?
Was for not going to student judiciaries from that charge.
Oh, man.
That's how they got me, a university bylaw.
Technicality.
Yep, technicality is what got me kicked out.
So when we go back to homecoming, I remember distinctly we're watching the parade and I see the fire truck coming. And I'm like, Ervin, do you want to get on that fire truck.
Everything in me wanted to jump on the fire truck.
I remember watching your face light up like a child dressed in a firefighter suit. Again, you just love fire trucks, I think.
I think I just love fire trucks.
Is it illegal for a man to love fire trucks in the United States of America?
Can a man not love fire? Trucks.
Or trucks. Or trucks.
Or truck.
You put them together. What if I love fire and trucks? And also riding on things.
And riding on things.
So the fire truck went by and you did not.
I did not.
And I was like, Ervin, that's what you call a moment of growth.
Yeah, sometimes you just got to grow up a little bit by not jumping on a moving fire truck.
Yep. There you go. Well, our origin story continued after that because I did lose track of you after senior year. I think the last time I saw you, obviously then I had you in my first Killer Raccoon movie that I made with my comedy troupe for $5,000.
If nobody knows, I'm in a movie called Coons.
Night of the Bandits of the Night.
Yeah, there's also other words.
It's about Killer Raccoon.
I'm the only black guy in a movie named Coons.
We definitely, I think at that time as innocent progressive college students were like, this isn't racist and racism won't be a thing in the future.
Pepperidge Farm remembers.
There you go. So but that movie was successful in that we finished it.
And it was so much fun.
And we sold it to Trauma Entertainment.
Yep.
And then as the years went by, I remember we graduated college. I lost track of you. Then I ran for mayor of Bexley. Check out that movie, American Mayor.
Yes.
It's Irv did show up to the election night party. You were almost in this movie.
I did. I popped up
I couldn't
randomly.
work you into Act 3 with no character arc. I mean, you showed up at the end of the movie, so I can't fit you in. But you were at the party.
I did show up.
And after that, I remember the Killer Raccoon movie was showing, because Trauma was doing this festival out in Indiana.
Yes.
Franklin, Indiana. It's called the B Movie Film Festival.
Uh-huh.
And I think this was a point, this is after college, and I think I had moved to D.C. and then New York. But our movie was in that festival, and I was just, I hit you up, I was like, do you want to go? Do you want to go?
I think originally I was like, nah, and you were like, it's an open bar, and I was like, I'm down. It was really easy.
Your memory's better than mine then. I think it was like, I remember my grandfather just passed away. There's multiple other things happening. It was just like, well, let's, we could use a road trip with the buddy.
Oh, yeah.
And then we go there, and of course, the Trauma's there, and the movie's playing, and you're a hit with everyone.
But I didn't know it. I had no idea that I was a hit right away.
You can't take Irv anywhere without everyone loving him immediately. And so I remember doing the festival, showing the movies, doing the Yip Yap, and Lloyd Kaufman was there with Trauma. And because that's where you can find that movie.
Right.
It's only available from Trauma, which I think is good.
Which is good.
Making it for $5,000. It does have a cult following, though, which I do appreciate. And then obviously we'll come back to that later because there is a sequel. But everyone, I remember I get text messages and emails, specifically emails being like, hey, what's up with that Irv guy? Do you have his contact? He was great. And so I gave everyone your contact. And by the next year of the B Movie Film Festival, you have been out there for weeks shooting B movies.
Yeah.
And Irv's acting career, which obviously started with, me just plugging you into stupid.
Yeah, I started as a coon and now I'm a darkie. Wait.
Oh, Lord. We're going to have to edit that out.
We edit that.
What, is my political career still over? Okay, great. But no, just like dumb skits, right? And dumb movies and videos. It was then you went to the B movie.
Yeah.
Indiana B movies. But then that's when you said, I want to do this for real. I remember you having that epiphany.
Yeah.
And you hauled everything up and you went to Los Angeles.
Yeah, I sold my drum set from college. I was I'm still heartbroken about that drum set. Because it was just beautiful and it was custom. It was from England. Mm-hmm. And but the whole thing helped me have a career, which currently now I've been in, I think, 35 television shows, handful of movies. I got a professional career in Hollywood out of hanging with my buddies.
That's, I love that.
You can't beat that.
You were very nice. We were at a party at Walker with Walker Evans and some other Columbus people, and you sometimes you very nicely say that you owe your whole career to me.
Oh, yeah.
But I would argue you always had the talent. I was just, sometimes you need a buddy to be like, all right, pull you away from the bar there, and here you go. Now you're rolling camera and action.
Like
and
Hugh Hefner does.
Yeah, sure. I'm like the Hugh Hefner
of
your life?
Film in my life?
Okay.
Film in my, yeah.
But it did work out, and I was very proud of you. What was those first few years in L.A. like? Oh, because there was another thing that happened. I remember you were in L.A., and I flew out to L.A. to try to make L.A. happen.
Right.
I think by like 2011, and you had already been there for like a year, and your mom was out there staying with you, or you were staying with her. It was a family deal.
Well, I had her come out because
the weather's good for her.
The weather's better for her health.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
You know, plus it was like, it's just like, why not? If you're going to have, somebody there, you like have somebody, nice support system on the ground is always cool.
Yes. Yeah. Oh, no. And it was advantageous because I remember you guys picked me up from the airport at LAX my first day. And then I was going to sublet a room in a sketch comedy mansion.
Yeah.
The Midnight Show, which is a sketch comedy group that used to do a show once a month at midnight at UCB, Franklin, the original LA location. Yeah. And the mansion was right by UCB because they would have their show at midnight, and then they invite everyone over for an all-night party at this mansion. And I was subletting a room from James Adomian, who was in the group but starting to leave the group. Right. And I remember we picked up the keys, went to the mansion, and the people in the mansion is also some other OU alums. Michael Bush.
Yeah,
who was
Mike
in
Bush.
Comedy for the Masses.
And owner of Imposters Theater up in Cleveland
up in Cleveland.
Right
now. Yep, and I believe they did the festival last year. And Eric Moneypenny, who has written for shows like the Eric Andre Show, lots of Adult Swim shows, awards shows, and he currently actually also runs a theater out in LA as well. The Pack Sketch
Theater.
Comedy Theater.
Yeah.
Yep. So, these guys, again, they started the comedy troupe that I eventually joined, that eventually I asked you to be be in skits for. So it's kind of a chain reaction, just OU coming together in LA. And I remember I get there and they are working on a skit for what was then Funny or Die,
right?
Which was still the reputable website run by Will Ferrell and Adam McKay. And they had a sketch that they were getting paid to make called Moobs Gone Wild.
Yes, Man Boobs Gone Wild.
Yes, it was larger men who have man boobs, a.k.a. moobs, but it was shot and produced in the way of the old Girls Gone Wild ridiculous ads.
It was.
If you think of that in hindsight, Comedy Central, those ads were on all the time in college on
they
Comedy
really
Central.
were. It's like,
so for these guys to be making fun of it, and I remember I'm literally like taking my bags up to my new sublet room, and they're like working on the script and stuff. They're like, "Hey, Travis," and we've known some of them from LA Comedy and OU. So like, hey, do you know any larger guys who would want to be in this Moobs Gone Wild video? And I'm just like, yeah, hold on a second. Hey, Irv, get up here. You want to be in a Funny or Die video? And that was
because I'm just sitting in the living
once again, right place, right time.
Yep.
And then you were the star of that video, as I recall. Irv was doing things they didn't even ask him to do.
I know. I walked around the office of Funny or Die for quite some time in my underwear. Was not required at all. Right. I was just like what am I going to
needed to do that for one shot, sir.
Yep. What am I going to get a shot for this? Come on, let's take a chance.
I'm here to meet Will Ferrell.
Where's Will Ferrell?
Where's Will?
I've got Teddy Whitey's too.
Right. So yeah, that was fun because that was like my first day in LA, and then immediately we were like back to, let's do this, let's get this dumb skit going.
Yeah.
And then you did turn it, and this is where I'm like, you put in the work, you put in the time, but you also had the talent, and you actually did start getting regular TV gigs. Comedy Bang Bang, I think, was one. Californication. You were in RZA's
Parks and Rec.
That was, can we tell that story? Because I know there's like, with RZA, it was like you were like a background, like part of his entourage, and you just kept hanging out.
Yeah, it was a background through Central Casting.
Right.
But that was my first like professional gig. I'll say that, like professional, like big budget set. I was just doing background. I thought it was going to be for like a day or two. Turned out I was part of RZA from Wu-Tang Clans. He was in that season of the show. I was part of his like entourage. So I got to be there for like 5 weeks, like every day, just hanging out. And it was the coolest thing because I'm a huge Wu-Tang fan. And RZA would like freestyle for us every day at lunch. Like every day he would freestyle.
Was he freestyling about the lunch?
Sometimes it was insanity. Like, it was just like, oh my God, this guy's still got it. He's amazing.
Yeah. Oh, he's a genius.
Everybody else is just standing there like, oh, that's cool. I'm like losing my mind, fangirling. I'm like, and then he pushed me, and I kind of wanted to fight him, But that was out the last like week of that show. Mm-hmm. But he really did push me hard, and that was not in the script.
Oh, well.
Like he was walking past me, and he just like shoulder checked me, and I was like, I forgot for a second I was acting, and I was just like, this
Oh,
but then I thought he's like 6'5", and also he's very much so a real gangster, and I'm not.
Right. Don't fight RZA.
Right, you can't fight RZA. He did bring his real gun to set.
Yeah.
And it kind of freaked everybody out on set, because including the police.
Pretty cool.
Because no one brings their real weapon to set. And I was like, oh, I was cool there, because I was like, yeah, that's just a black man being a black
what is
man.
this, an Alec Baldwin movie? Come on, folks. All right, too soon.
A little bit of Rusty, yeah.
Oh. But then tell the Parks and Rec story, because I do love this story about you going to audition for a limo driver character.
Yeah.
Parks and Rec.
So how I even got the audition from Californication. Californication's over. I moved back to Ohio for a split second. I happened to, and then I moved back out there to do like some web series, just for like a week or two. Mm-hmm. And while I'm out there, I notice online in IMDb, someone filed the credit for my Californication. Instead of doing uncredited for background, they had it as fully credited. So it looks like I'm a recurring character on the show.
You're on multiple episodes.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. So I see a management company submitting for, looking for people to represent. I submit to them because I'm like, I have nothing to lose. I submit, looks like I'm a regular. They call me about an hour later. They're like, hey, you're a regular on this show? And I'm like, yep, come into our office. Yes. I show up to the office. They're like, you're on Californication. Absolutely, I am. And they're like, we want to sign you. So I sign with them like 2 minutes later.
Of course.
And they're like, we got an agent we want to hook you up with. And I was like, okie doke. I go to the agents the next day. She's like, you're on Californication? Yes, ma'am. Mm-hmm. She signs me right then and there. About 2 weeks later, if the credit gets corrected back to uncredited, manager calls me in the office, and he's like, hey, is this background work? And I'm like, yes, it is. And he's like, that's the smartest thing you ever could have done. You're in a year contract. We can't drop you. So they send me to my first audition, which is a speaking role as a chauffeur on Parks and Recreation.
I love this. And you walk in.
Yeah, I walk in. Everybody is dressed like a professional limo driver.
Yes.
The tuxedo.
Yes.
Like the black suits, the hats, everything. I go in there in like a T-shirt and jeans because I'm still not anywhere near professional at this point. I'm just like, I just might as well be comfortable. Mm-hmm. You can drive anything, whatever.
Right.
So I walk in, and I start immediately talking to the casting director because she has a lot of guitars in her office, and I love music.
Yes.
So I'm like, hey, let's get a little banter going about
music education, journalism major.
Yeah, I was like, let me talk to this lady. I can talk to her. So then the audition starts, and, I'm about where I am now. There's a chair right here facing, the camera for the casting director. So I take the chair, turn it 180.
Because
that's how if you're a limo driver, you're looking back. That's the only common sense thing in my mind that makes sense. And I do the audition that way, and I get a call a couple days later that I got the job.
Yeah.
And I get on set and I talk to the producer, and it turns out the reason he hired me because I was the only person who turned the chair around.
There you go.
Like, something that simple got me a job.
Right. Because then I remember watching an episode of Parks and Rec, and you're looking through the window,
you gotta turn
telling Aziz Ansari that you can't take the limo on the highways.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? Like, that'll take 6 hours to get to Indianapolis. I can't take this thing on the highway.
Right.
But I think your first line is, where are we going, kids? Strip clubs? And then
Aziz is like, yeah.
And then
Adam Scott's like, no. That day I was so nervous because, like I said, it's your first like real speaking role and acting job. So nervous that day. And I guess they could all see it. But Aziz is on his phone in the corner, as always. He's very hot at the time, so he's like right there on the phone.
Right, booking everything.
And Adam Scott was, he talked to me in the van on the way over. I love Adam Scott. I'd worked with him in another show called Ghosted. And the person I did not expect to come over to me did. Amy Poehler.
Oh, my gosh.
As I'm standing there sweating bullets, not looking at anybody.
Starstruck.
I was at the time, because I was like, oh, snap, that's Amy Poehler. Like, I was watching, Saturday Night Live at the time. I was like, oh, my goodness, that's Amy Poehler.
Of course.
And I was like, oh, here we go.
Went Hot American Summer.
All of it. Yeah, I'm like, oh, here we go. She came over and she's like, hey, are you all right? And I was like, yeah, I'm just, I'm stammering over myself.
Yeah, I'm fine.
And she's like, what's your name? And I was like, Ervin. And she's like, hey, everyone, yells out while production's going on, everybody's setting up and everything. She's like, everyone, stop working. This guy's name is Ervin. No, she said, this guy's name is Herman.
Oh, okay. Well.
And I was like, it's actually Ervin. And she's like, oh, his name's Ervin. I fucked up. Go back to work. It got me out of my own head. And I was
right.
Amy Poehler, thank you. Still to this day, if you're watching, I hope thank you for everything.
It's almost like an old improv game too.
Yeah.
You know, where you gotta don't think, right? That's the rule of the UCB. And
that's what led me to go to UCB was the so nice thing that Amy Poehler did. That's why I took UCB when I started improv.
Yes.
I was like, oh my goodness, Amy helped me so much.
Isn't that right? There's always just such a connection from, you know, that's I think what we are trying to outline here on this show is just like
connections.
You know, yeah, it's just you meet certain people. And I know we kind of, especially when we go down to Athens, we get a little emotional. But there's something that we saw in each other that we wanted to see in our lives and in the world eventually. And I think that's nice that when you meet those people, like I didn't want to even go to OU. And now it's like you and our friend at Ohio Capital Journal, Dave DeWitt, the editor over there.
Dave Dowie.
We are like, for 20 years, we've, you know, been very, very good. I mean, you guys are my closest friends.
Right.
I mean, which means you're in charge of everything after I pass away, which unfortunately is that's going to be a big deal for everyone. And you've also put me in charge of if you pass away before I pass away, I'm in charge of your Viking funeral.
Yeah, I want to have a full Viking funeral. It's legal
Buckeye
in Colorado.
Lake, this is the only place I think I could pull this off.
Yeah, it's legal in Colorado and Wyoming. I've looked up.
I do have connections in Wyoming.
See, we can do this then. Because
Okay.
I just wanted the full, like, build the boat, wrap me in my linens, push it out there, light that bad boy on fire.
Yes. I also need an archer. If there's any archers out there.
So I can, like, show up in Valhalla and they're like, a black guy. You know the next guy is a
wrong guy. Blazing Sails. You're going to make that movie today. Well, I guess we should quickly plug our other movies. We did make a sequel to the Killer Raccoon movie, and this time we did call it Killer Raccoons 2, Dark Christmas in the Dark. I was so excited. This was a fun story, too, because it was a return, almost a full circle moment. And I remember telling you that we're going to do it, and I needed you to.
Yes.
I definitely wanted you. It was like we pulled several people, but not all people. Our friend Dan Velez sadly passed away. He was in the first movie. He actually helped you get a bunch of your acting
Dan
gigs
worked
in
as the
LA.
casting director in LA. It was great.
Yeah. So, you know, we dedicated Killer Raccoons 2 to him because he was down to do it. That's what I remember. It was like Dan wasn't acting. He was casting director. He was like, yeah, I would totally be in that dumb sequel. For anyone doesn't know, Killer Raccoons 2, Dark Christmas in the Dark is just Under Siege 2, Dark Territory, but without Steven Seagal, with our characters from the first movie, and then raccoons as the domestic terrorist hijackers of a train.
Yes.
And Irv plays one of the good guys. And I remember your manager just being like, this will do nothing for your career.
Yeah, because like I think I had just come off of booking like 3 or 4 TV shows that month.
Yeah,
I was just hot rolling. And he was like, why? Why do you want to fly to Ohio to do a movie?
Do anything.
To do anything, but also do like a movie with like your buddies. And he's like, it's not like a theater release. It's not gonna boost your career in any way. And I was like, no, I was like, I had to remind him, I was like, hey, look, I'm doing this. I just wanted to inform you.
Right.
I was like, you have to remember that dynamic at some point. It's like, I don't work
I'm doing
for you.
this. Right. You work for me.
You work for me at this point.
Yeah.
Which is funny because I'm still with the same manager.
Yeah.
Entertainment Lab. Love you guys.
Love you guys. Thank you.
Still with the same manager from Californication days.
Yeah, right.
From way back.
It's a full circle, and it is so fun because we've gotten so much mileage out of Killer Raccoons too, because it is a Christmas movie. So every Christmas it gets a little bigger, better, and dumber. As the world gets dumber, we have found that Gen Z loves Killer Raccoons 2 because it is so stupid. And then we've been able to do our annual screenings at Studio 35, which is always a lot of fun at Christmas time. We've also started to do a screening out in Normal, Illinois, which is where I believe Illinois State University is. Yep. And they want to bring us back every year.
Isu.
Yeah, Isu is what they call it. And that's always been fun. And then the movie was on Tubi last year. And that blew up because when people go watch a dumb movie for free, you don't have to pay for it.
Oh, it's on.
Yeah. And I noticed somebody let me know that our reviews on Letterboxd are all 1 stars or 5 stars. No in between. You either love it or you hate it, and that's it. And that's kind of where Killer Raccoons 2 has parked our train, if you will.
If you will.
But we got so much mileage out of it because I was also explaining to someone recently that because we shot it in 2017, we finished it in 2019, at least all the visual effects and everything. As the writer, director, producer, I was in charge of getting that thing done. And and we signed it away to Indican Pictures, and then they had plans to release it in Christmas and July of 2020. You may recall in July 2020, there was a global pandemic.
Yes.
And because of this global pandemic, we were one of the only movies released in the summer of 2020, and we became the #1 new comedy in America in the summer of 2020 because there were no other new comedies in America in the summer of 2020.
That's how you win.
That is so bizarre.
How you win.
It is because of the pandemic. We are on the chart. If you look historically on the chart of top release, it's all like drive-through movies like Star Wars, Jurassic Park, Indiana Jones. They're playing all the classics at drive-throughs. And then I think at number 11, Killer Raccoons 2, Dark Christmas in the Dark. And we made like $8,000 or something off streaming in a weekend.
Take that, Mauritania.
Yeah, I mean, you can't make this stuff up, folks.
You really can't.
And then we were also eligible for the Academy Awards because the bar was so low in 2020 that if you screened anywhere in America that year for a week, because like the Academy does have standards. Usually, it's like you got to screen for a whole week in New York or LA or a similar sized market. And I remember in 2020, you could literally email the Academy and fill out a form to apply to be eligible. And I'm just like, what about Shaker Heights, Cleveland? We were at a theater in Shaker Heights, the good people of Cleveland. Does that qualify us? And they were like, yes, it actually does. So we were one of 366 movies that was eligible for the Academy Awards, Killer Raccoons 2, Dark Christmas in the Dark. It was just an honor to be eligible.
Absolutely. Well, let's wrap it up here. We could go on forever because we've known each other forever.
We could just keep talking. But Columbus Comedy Festival. We'll be doing our show So Bad It's Good.
Yes.
At Studio 35. Movie and exact date and time to be determined. But Studio 35 asked us to do this last year, and it's been a lot of fun. It's like Mystery Science Theater 3000, but live and with local comedians. So that's been a lot of fun to do.
Absolutely. And anything you promote real quick?
American Mayor, available at AmericanMayorMovie.com. If you also want to run for mayor of Bexley and not win, but also win on the issues, American Mayor, an inspiring movie. How America Killed My Mother, a movie about moms and our inadequate healthcare system in this country. It's not so much a dark comedy as it is a light tragedy. So it does have some laughs. You might cry a little bit. Call your moms. We love our moms. And, of course, Guy from Ohio, my comedy album. This thing is on CD, and I actually recorded it right here, downtown Columbus, Mad Lab Theater. Shout out to Mad Lab. They were very nice to let me do anything in there. So I love coming home. I love hanging with my buddies. At the end of the day, it's like when the edible hits, I tell people my biggest desire is just make funny stuff with my friends.
Absolutely.
So thank you for being a part of that, Irv.
Thank you, man. All right, well, that's it for Los Mid Dudes podcast. I hope you've had a great time. Like, subscribe, join. Jim, I won't, but try it. I've heard they don't stink as bad.
Kill the stripping.
I'm adding clothes. This is my show.
This is the opposite of Columbus Gold or wherever. What's that? Oh, Cahoots.
Cahoots.
Yeah. I always wanted to go with my political rivals to Cahoots strip club so I could be like, we're in cahoots.
So
come on.